Chapter 1. Imani. The intensity of the pain increases, and on instinct, my hand rushes to stifle the suffering. Despite knowing what the damp sensation that coats my palm most likely is, I force my stare down to confirm it. Seeing the red stain on my skin and feeling the burn deepen leaves no room for doubt. I've been shot. Accusations as well as questions run rampantly through my mind, yet I know there isn't time to dwell on anything. No, I have to get out of the range of fire. I have to find cover. I have to protect myself. I'm not like Hammerhead. There's no armor guarding my torso, nothing to slow down the impact, nothing to lessen the severe discomfort or possible damage. Bullets ping off pillars in both directions, but I don't bother looking over my shoulder to scout the enemy shooters. I scoop my injured body up just enough to scurry out of the immediate line of danger, now blocked by the front end of an old Lincoln town car. I let my eyes scan the closest portion of the situation. While Hammerhead didn't exactly turn himself into a human shield, he did something better and, in my opinion, smarter. He drew the majority of the gunfire his direction, which allowed me to slip away unseen, except for the blood drop trail I'm sure I left behind. That shit makes it easier to find me than breadcrumbs ever would. I just hope, when the time comes, it's Hammerhead who follows him and not someone from Dread MC. Round after round nicks the wide column Hammerhead is taking cover behind. The frequency of the shots doesn't seem to slow down. However, it does appear as though they're converging in on his location. I do my best to peer around the objects concealing me and take count of how many shooters there appear to be. Thankfully, their laser focus on annihilating the larger threat allows my scouring to go unnoticed. There are 3 visible men with weapons drawn. Each is wearing a Dread MC cut with no signs of protection underneath. I do my best to inconspicuously make my whereabouts known to my ally. His attention splits impressively, giving them no indication where they should be aiming their fire. I flash him 3 fingers, tap my chest, and make a slicing motion across my throat to indicate the valuable information. He doesn't bother acknowledging the given data with a head nod or any other movement that would let me know it's been received. Instead, he instantly acts on it. When the briefest pause arises due to their carelessness in regard to the rate at which they are burning through their ammunition, he strikes. His frame carefully angles itself around the blockade and drops 2 members where they stand. Unfortunately, the third manages to finish reloading his weapon and take the aim of what can only be branded as a kill shot. I do the only thing I know will work, despite the ass-chewing consequences that will arise. "Hey! Over here!" The Dread member immediately averts his attention my direction, causing him to receive 1 swift shot to the skull. He crumples lifelessly down through the pavement like his associates, and Hammerhead hustles over, checking for additional threats along the route. Lowering himself to a squat beside me, he scolds. "Are you fucking kidding me with that shit? You could have got yourself killed!" "You know," a groan of agony wheezes its way up the back of my throat, "that really doesn't sound like a thank you for helping." "That's because it isn't." "Well, it should be. I had it covered." "You needed a hand." My fingers fly to my side where I apply pressure in hopes of alleviating a bit of the pain. "And now I need one. Care to help me up?" Instead of jumping on the action, he exclaims, "Fuck, you were hit?" "Yeah," I wheeze, adrenaline from the situation clearly wearing off. Not sure if it was through and through or just a graze or if it hit something vital. But I do know we're wasting time talking about it. Right. Hammerhead trips over himself at the same time he rises to his feet to help me up. His free hand angles itself for the taking. "Let's get you." The sentence ends seconds prior to his body crumbling in front of my feet. Rather than waste a moment contemplating my next decision or my own possible deadly fate, I instinctively reach Hammerhead's weapon, lift, and fire. To no surprise, it isn't a kill shot. Due to the fact his mouth is cracked open, the bullet awkwardly pierces both his cheeks during its trajectory. His momentary stupefaction provides me with the much-needed, much-appreciated upper hand. I tweak my wrist to realign the shot and squeeze the trigger. He plops to the pavement, yet I keep my guard up. The results of what happens when you think the situation is settled, but it's truly not, pulling beside me. I do everything possible to ignore the way my heart pounds profusely against my chest, to disregard the amount of blood dripping from my side. To fight off the temptation, my mind is whispering to just close my eyes for a split second. That split second could be the difference between life or death. "Bodies!" An unsteady voice frantically shouts. We've got bodies in the garage!" Maybe just one long blink will sustain me. Give me the boost of energy I need to make it a little longer, a little further. All of a sudden, a man in a white uniform rounds the tail end of the vehicle across from where I'm located. His hand quickly drops whatever it was he was speaking into to aim his weapon at me. Through my blurry vision, I manage to spot what I hope is some sort of security badge. The tango with lightheadedness seems to be nearing the end of its time. "Miss, weapon down!" Unsure why his words are jumbled together and why his eyes seem to be having a meeting on top of his nose, I simply stare on, in hopes he's here for a rescue rather than an assault. "Miss, can you hear me?" My body mindlessly starts to sway to the subtle breeze it doesn't recall existing just a second ago. "Miss, are you injured? Do you need assistance? Do you understand me?" An unknown voice that sounds faintly like my own whispers to shut my eyes. Steal a tiny sliver of a second for myself. Fairly certain the man fading out of my vision isn't a foe, I whimper out on the last breath I manage to consciously grab. "Please, help me." With those words banished from my body, I slump onto my side in desperate need of reprieve, respite, repose. I only need a minute. That's all I need, and I'll be ready to fight once more.